Alright, bruh. Tutorial. First of all, you open After Effects. You ignore the alerts telling you that you're broke. So don't mind the bullshit, bro. I use too much shit in my shit. Look, bro. It's the reason why it's like this is because it's a project file from my other PC. And, you know, wait, let me see. So, tutorial on how to make jug. Basically, what I do when I edit is I get a clip. So let me break it down. So I get a clip. Let's do one clip. Wait, you know what? Let's make a little edit, bro. In this clip, fuck it. We're gonna do a 2-clip edit. So the website. This is the website right here. Anime clips online. This is fire. You can look up any anime. Look, this is Uzumaki. I don't remember which episode. I think it was episode 1. Uzumaki. Boom. You get on there. They have all the episodes. It only has 4 episodes. And then you have a bunch of clips. I don't know if it's every single clip from the anime, but you have like a bunch of 2-second clips that you can just, you know, download. They make a zip file. You have to select every clip that you want, and then they make a zip file. It takes away the annoyance of having to torrent every single episode and then having to go and find the exact clip from the exact episode that you want. So what you start with is sequence your clips, obviously. And then to Twixtor it, or to remap it, you go and find every single frame where she moves, right? So like the first 3 frames she doesn't move, and then the 4th frame she does move. You're gonna cut the clip at the frame that she moves at. I hope you can hear me because the mic is, wait, hold on, let me just stand like this. So what you're gonna do is find the clip, or find the frame where she moves, every single frame where she moves, and every time she moves you're gonna cut the clip with wait, I have a MacBook, with Control-Shift-D. So you cut the clip every time she moves, right? Every time she moves you cut the clip, and then you're gonna sequence the layers. Wait, I'm gonna show you how to do that. So here I have the first clip. I'm gonna do a second clip just for the tutorial's sake. So after you've done that, you're gonna have the clips like this, right? And they're gonna have multiple frames, and you don't want that because obviously we're trying to make every single moving frame a frame. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna select all of them, and then you're gonna like go all the way to the left so that they all become one frame. And then you're gonna right click and go to keyframe assistant and sequence the layers. You're gonna overlap might be on, you have to deactivate that, and then you have to press OK. And then there's gonna be a bunch of frames where she moves, and then you have to pre-compose that. So you can call it whatever you want. And then you have wait. Deactivate this here, because sometimes the clip, like the sequence of layers, will be shorter than the clip, like than the length of the clip that I want. Like you get, bro, sometimes it's shorter than the amount of seconds that I want the clip to appear for in like the edit, right? So for example, here it's 1 second, and if I pre-compose it and I adjust the composition duration, whatever, it's gonna be 1 second long, and I can't stretch it, right? So I just deactivate this. It's gonna make a long ass composition, and then I can, even when it's like this, when I use Twixtor, the clip is gonna extend past the 2 seconds, right? So I'm gonna do it with this clip too, just for the sake of the tutorial. So every time you find a frame that moves, you just Command-Shift-D or Control-Shift-D since you're on Windows. It kind of becomes a habit. It's really not hard. It's just a habit. So like that's what you have to do with anime. You don't have to do this with you don't have to do this with IRL clips, because you know it's 60 frames per second and every frame has information. In anime, some frames just are like filler frames, whatever they're called. So same thing, you take all the frames, you select all of them with Shift, so you go from the top one to the bottom one. Shift, you bring them all to the left so that they all occupy 1 frame. They say it like that. And then you go here, right click, keyframe assistant, sequence layers. You deactivate overlap, and then you're gonna have all of your frames. I actually fucked it up because I didn't have to do actually is select them from top to bottom. Otherwise you're gonna have what I just had, which is the clips inverted. So top to bottom, right click, keyframe assistant, sequence layers, deactivate overlap, okay, and then you have all of your frames. Call it whatever you want. Deactivate the adjusting. And so now you can use Twixtor. The way I use Twixtor, I think, is the way everybody uses Twixtor. So I kind of bullshit around, to be honest. So what I do is, first of all, you have to obviously apply Twixtor. If you don't have, I think you have Twixtor. You might not have Twixtor. I have a website with all of the, wait, hold on, let me show you everything. So you have all of the apps. You have After Effects, Media Encoder, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, all that shit. Plugins, Boris Continuum, Sapphire, which is a really good plugin. I think you have Sapphire. I'm not teaching you how to edit, bro. Twixtor, Twitch, which doesn't work for me, but it's a really good shake plugin. I know you know Twitch, but anyway, this website has everything. Once you put Twixtor on your clip, there's settings that you have to do, which I don't even know what they serve, but I know that I have to do it because that's the way I learned it. So for frame interpretation, whatever it is, do motion weighted blend. Here you keep speed. Here image prep, contrast and edge enhance, however you pronounce it, bro. And then I think that's it. If you have weird like blending things like warping here, you can kind of play around with this, but most of the time I just leave it on inverse. So then you go with command and back arrow or control back arrow. You go one frame before your clip and you select a keyframe on speed at 100 so that it doesn't mess up. Like if you go here and put 300 on speed, it doesn't mess up, you know, the whole clip. So you go here on the first frame and you select, for example, if you want to do like, if you want to go fast first and then slow your clip down, you go with 300% speed, and then you go a couple of frames later, like about 10 frames, I don't know, and then go and do like 10% speed, and then you can keyframe it. I recommend having flow for keyframe for what is it called, for graphs. It's really good. You can kind of shape it however you want, and then you can save presets. So this is the preset for in, right, easing in. So it makes it so that it goes fast from 300 to 10, and then it kind of like, it goes fast from like, let's say 300 to 20, and then here is gonna go from 20 to 10 kind of slowly, so it kind of smooths into the slow motion. So right, this is basically it, right? For the bullshit that I be doing, right, sometimes you be seeing the clip kind of reverse. So like I'll do, like, let's say I'll do one clip that's like this, and then at the end so what I'll do is I'll keep the 10 here, and then I'll put it like around the end of the clip, not at the end. Make sure that you go into your graph and actually select this, right? Because otherwise it's gonna mess up with your speed, and it's gonna do a bunch of shit, right? Like, let me show you. Right, and it actually, wait, it has to load first. So look, you see how it goes faster? Well, that's not what we want. We wanted to keep it at 20, so we're gonna do like this, right? And then at the end, I'll go a little faster. I'll copy and paste the 300, and I'll ease it out. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but I'll call it easing out. So that graph makes it so that it's slow at first, and then it goes faster and faster. So you'll see it goes slow, and then all of a sudden it'll start, like you see, and then here on this clip I'm gonna do the same thing. Most of the time I just copy and paste it, to be really honest with you. I just copy and paste my Twixtors, and then I tweak them. So here I copied and pasted it, so it's gonna be the same. Make sure that when you paste one frame before, so that the 100, right, the default speed is a frame before your clip actually starts. And then here you have the same thing, right, the slow motion, but I'm gonna show you how to do the little reverse thingies that I'll be doing. So what I do is, between the frames of the beginning and the end transition, I just like play around with the graph. So I'll just, like, for example, here, if I wanted to kind of reverse towards the end, I'll go below 0, sorry, and then you'll see that it kind of reverses. When I do that, most of the time the end part where it goes faster and faster is gonna go like I want it to be towards the end, otherwise it's gonna do like this because it's gonna go all the way back to before the clip even starts. So I'll do that, and then I'll push this all the way here so that the reverse part is kind of, you know, is as small as possible. If you don't understand graphs, I don't know, I can't make a tutorial on it, but it's kind of just, you know, it's graphs. I don't know. So then you'll have this, right? So it'll start off, my PC is super slow, so my fault. But it'll start off like this. Wait, the clip isn't even like this, and then it'll go back to going fast at the end, right? Here it's kind of done sloppily, it's kind of slop, but you get what I mean though. Maybe this is too long, maybe the clip is just too long, but you get the gist, right? This part, the reverse part, this little reverse is this right here. That's the reverse. So I'm assuming you understand. If you don't understand, you gotta ask me questions. So yeah, it will reverse for a little bit and then go back. You know, if you want it to be less of a reverse, you can kind of do this. If you want the reverse to be into a kind of faster, you know, faster speed, you can immediately, you know, put this up so that it goes faster, and now it's at 80%, and then it's gonna go all the way to 300. Like, I don't know, it's kind of intuitive, maybe because I've been doing it for so long. But if you have questions, you can ask me, right? So that's the remapping part. That's the remapping part. So after I'm done with that, right, that's the basis of most of my edits. Like when you look at this one, for example, the basis of my edit, when I'm done with that, so for example here, since I don't have since I used the IRL clip, I don't have to do all that. I don't have to pre-compose and shit, so it's just the clip with Twixtor on it. And so what I do from then on, I add a null on top of it for kind of the scales and shit. I add a null. I cut it, obviously. You can have one null for both clips, but I like to have a null per clip. So I obviously parent it, right? And then so make sure you parent it when the scales and shit are all like resetted, and then you can keyframe rotation, scale, position, and that's about it, right? And then you have to separate your dimensions, sorry, so that you can mess with the graphs. So what I do is for example, if I want it to be from a zoomed out into a zoom in, right, I'll keep it at 100 because I don't like to use motion tile too much because it makes my PC fucking explode. So I'll just go from 100 to like 110, for example, a couple of frames in. Even like most of my clips, when you look at my clips, right, my clips are like a couple of frames, right? It's really less than a second. So I'll do stuff like this, right? I'll do stuff like this at the end of the clip, right? Around the end of the clip, I'll do like 110, and then I'll kind of mess with the position a little bit. So I'll do like this, and then rotation. I like to keep my rotation at like decimal numbers because it be going too far sometimes. And then I ease it in so that it starts fast, and then obviously I add motion blur. I already add motion blur to the other things. And so now well, it's gonna do this, right? So, and since the keyframe ends at around the end of the clip, the reason why I don't do it at the end is because I like to have, like, for example, I'll copy this so it'll reset back, and then I'll ease it out, right, so that it creates a transition. And then when it's like this, I can immediately transition into a zoom out, I think, right? So I'll copy the node object, I'll parent it, I'll make sure that when I parent it, everything is at neutral, and then I'll take the neutral position, swap it with whatever I had here, and then I'll just redo my graphs. So I'll select those, I'll ease them in, and then I'll select the last two and I'll ease them out, and that's just to create like a kind of you know. And that's how I do my my scales. I think, did I go too fast? I don't know. If you have questions, ask me. Okay, so that's the way I twixter and scale. So that's the first 2 steps. Then after that, I'll do my shakes and the effects. So my shakes, I actually have them from like old ass edits, and I keep copying them. That's why I have like 4 project files that I just keep. So I'll copy the shake. So my shake is just S shake. You can look at the settings. It's I don't have X and Y shake. I only have Z shake and a little bit of tilt, if I'm not mistaken. Not even. Yeah, I just have Z shake, and my frequency is at 8. I actually don't like it at 8, but I was kind of lazy with this edit. Mostly it's at 5 or something around that, 5 or 4. And then I start with my amplitude at 3. The reason why I said 2, whatever the fuck, is because I keep using them, and then the frames vary, right? Sometimes I'll have a 60 FPS edit, sometimes I'll have a fucking 28, 34, whatever the fuck it is, FPS edit. So like it constantly changes, and I constantly have to redo it. But it starts at 3, right? And it goes from 3 to 0, and I actually have like this little build up to it. So it goes from that to 3 to 0, from 0 to 3. I'll ease it in, right? And then I ease it out all the way to the end of the clip, or like a little bit before, not the end of the clip, not for shake. S shake, I actually keep it to like about a little bit after the middle of the clip, so that it's not completely like, you know, just shaking all over the place. And then I'll add a camera lens blur, and I change the blur radius from the beginning to the end. Here is for the last clip that I took this shake from, impact, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And so I do this, and I ease them. Wait, what do I do again? I don't remember. I actually don't I kind of don't care. It can stay like this, right? It just at the beginning it has to go fast into nothing, and then it has to go fast into the blur, right? That's pretty much it. And then here I have pixel sorter, which I just ease in, right? So it's just threshold from the start. Pixel sorter, this is pixel sorter. If you don't know what that is, that's pixel sorter right here. So I pixel sort it, right? And then I ease it into a couple of frames. Pixel sorter can't stay for too long because it kind of messes up. It has this it's a very apparent effect. And then I add brightness and contrast, because otherwise I feel like it's kind of boring. So what I do is I just add these 2, and then what the fuck do I do with these? I think I just ease them with F9. I think that's what I do. Yeah, just put F9, and then it's gonna have this little kind of nice little graph. And what that does is it messes with the brightness, so it doesn't stay, you know, it doesn't stay the same. And then that's it. That's the shake right here, right? So that's the shake, right? And then I add them to every clip. Make sure that you yeah, whatever, bro, whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. So, you know, that's what it looks like, right? So you have the shake, and then transition into the other shake, right? That's what it is. So you can add a bunch of stuff, right? I used to add a lot of glow, deep glow. I used to add Twitch is really good. You can add the flicker option and the transform option, but I don't have Twitch anymore. And then with the scales that I told you, so I go back to my clip, I deselect this so that I can see it, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm gonna be really honest with you, I just bullshit around, bro. Like, I'll deactivate this, I'll keyframe the start, I'll keyframe it at like, I'll keyframe the 100 and put it somewhere so I don't lose it. And I'll go here and I'll stretch it a little bit, and I'll go a little further, do it like this maybe. Like, I'll do 100, and then I'll stretch this part, and then I'll go here, and this is 0, and then I'll go here, back here, and then I'll stretch it again. And then around the end, I'll like stretch it completely or something. Not like this, actually, I don't like it like that. Like this, for example. And then I'll ease it out, right? Make sure that this is around the end. And then for the other clips, I just F9, and then I mess around to see if it looks good or not, right? Like this is alright, this is okay, you know. That's what I do. And then I'll copy it and paste it to my other clips, and then change it according to you know, how I want it to kind of look for the other clips. But this is a cool kind of shape, right? That's about it, man. That's about it. Do I do something else? I don't really do much else. I do play a lot with like one frames and shit. Like I'll do, like, for example, this clip right here, before it starts, I'll take a frame of it and I'll like put it, not the frame before it starts, but 2 frames before it starts, and I'll stretch it or some shit, and I'll blend it, right? So like I'll stretch this clip, blend it in with like difference or something, and then it'll create like this kind of, you know, kind of blend in part kind of thing. Like this is something I do a lot. Yeah, so I'm gonna send you the project file, and yeah, bro, it's gonna I hope it taught you something. I hope so. If it didn't, you can ask me anything, I'll answer.